So we have learned quite a few stuff about creating smart contracts, and today I've decided to show you it's about time to learn about Constructor. So it's Constructor is a very simple function that gets run only once you deploy the contract. So this is a very simple function to understand. All you have to know about Constructor is that it will only, the code in the constructor function will only be called once when the contract is deployed to the blockchain. So why is the constructor used? Well, most of the time it's just used to initialize for some initialization code. For example, let's say you will build a lottery contract, and in this lottery contract people are depositing money because this is lottery, and in this type of contract you would have to have one person, usually the person that deployed the contract, that can withdraw the money after the lottery has ended. And usually you would have some sort of address that can withdraw all the money from the contract, which we call the owner here. And what we can do is simply initialize the owner in the smart contract. This is what the constructor is usually used for. And to any constructor, since this is a function, you can pass some arguments to it, and these arguments you can pass them when you deploy the smart contract. So when you deploy the smart contract, we will pass the owner, the actual address that deployed to the contract, and we'll set that initial owner to the owner of the contract, to this variable here. And then later we can have a withdraw function here, and after you've set the owner, you can have a withdraw function here that is only accessible from the owner address. So let's deploy the contract and see how all of this works. So I'm going to first save the contract, make sure it compiles successfully, then go into this deploy section. And now, since we have an actual argument here in the constructor, we will have to specify the actual address here. So before deploying the contract, we will have to specify or pass this argument. And here what I'll do is I'll copy this address, the first one that I have, and just paste it here to the constructor, and then I'm going to deploy the contract. I forgot to mention, but I also have just a number variable that's initialized to 1, but then in the constructor I initialize it to 2. So here, if I go into my contract and if I click on number, you're going to see that the value is 2 instead of 1. And also, if I click on the owner variable, you're going to see that I get this address that I copied here. We can use even another address like this one. So we can choose this address, we can copy this address, delete.contract, and we can paste this new address that ends in CB2. So let's deploy the contract and see who the owner of this contract is. So as you can see, the address ends in CB2.